Good morning and welcome back to Sunday Football with Sundeep. I'm your host, Sundeep. We're going to get started because Week 5 of NFL has already kicked off. Last week I went 3-3, which wasn't as good as I'd done before. 3-3 means I lost a little bit. In the betting world, when you go 3-3, or even 50%, you're giving up 10% of your bets. That's the gamble that you make, and so I actually lost a little bit last week for the first time this season. As with betting, any situation you're bound to lose. You're never going to be 100%. The goal is to make more of those winning sessions more frequent, and I'm going to work on that. We're not going to lose quite as often, so we'll figure out what we did wrong last week, try to work on that, correct that, and do better this time. Let's get started. Quick recap of Thursday Night Football. Don't know if you got to watch this game. It was a little better than the previous Thursday Night Football games. For some reason, Thursday Night Football games have been coming down to the wire. It's been interesting. They've been kind of entertaining. This week we had the Colts at the Texans. The Texans still have a lot of issues on their defensive side. I'm not sure why they can't rush the passer. Hasselbeck looked actually pretty good, which is strange considering he was in the hospital on Tuesday with the flu. He came out looking pretty well, and for this season, he's actually thrown 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. Pretty impressive. But again, it's Matt Hasselbeck. He's the oldest player in the NFL right now. One of the oldest players, excuse me. I'm not sure if I'd bet on them. In any case, I would have taken the Colts. I didn't take them. They ended up winning. It was good for them. Texans still have a lot of issues to work out. Let's get started. Again, the final score in that game was 23-20 Colts. The first Sunday game we're going to discuss is the Jags versus the Bucs. I'm not going to watch this game because, again, it's two terrible teams. If anybody considers it a good game, you might watch them because you're fans of the teams, but Jaguars and Buccaneers don't seem to be most entertaining teams right now. They don't have really any playmakers. I'm going to pass on this game. The Jags should cover. If you were going to bet, I'd bet on them, but I'm going to pass. Again, I don't like to bet on terrible teams. The line right now is Buccaneers -3, over under 42.5. Next up is the Bills versus the Titans. Tyrod Taylor seems to be having a rough start to the season. He did good at the beginning, a little rough after that. The crowd actually booed him last week. I'm not sure why that is. I mean, he is technically a rookie, even though he's been in the league before. This is his first season as a starting quarterback, and I'd give him some credit. He didn't have his number one receiver or his running back last week. Sammy Watkins and LaShawn McCoy were out. Watkins should be back this week, so I expect that he'll do better. However, I think the Titans are a better team in this situation. They're coming off a bye week. This usually doesn't mean good for teams coming off a bye week, especially on the Titans. They traditionally don't cover the spread. However, I like them in this game. We lost value as the Titans opened up at -3, and now it's gone down to an even game. I'm going to stay away from this one. There's actually sharps money on the Bills. Sharps meaning that professional bettors, which is what's driven the spread down. In these cases, it's hard to predict the game because you have some smart people against some people who are rookies betting, and I'm not really sure which side to take. Generally, I pass on these games. There's too much movement, so I'm not going to worry about this game. I think the Titans should win. The over-under is 42.5. Next up, we got Browns at Ravens. What's up with the Ravens offense? They haven't really been able to move the ball this year. Considering Flacco is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, I'm surprised about this. Steve Smith is out this week. I think he had some microfractures that they're going to have to address. The Browns seem to be the stronger team in this case. I'm actually going to lean towards them on this one. Duke Johnson should see the ball more. And the Ravens' weak secondary is going to give up points. I like the Browns at plus 6.5 points. You might be able to actually buy up the half point to make it plus 7, but I'm going to take the Browns in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens come out with a win at the last second, but again, I don't think they will. I'm going to say I like the Browns overall to cover the pick and maybe even win this game. Over-under is 43.5. 43.0. Next up, we got Redskins and Falcons. How about the Redskins? I called that game last week. I liked them last week because they seem to be in a better position. They came back with a last-minute win and covered. Not really sure how Kirk Cousins did it, but he executed a brilliant 90-yard drive. I have to give him credit on that one. However, it cost them a lot. They lost their tight end, Jordan Reed. The Falcons are hot right now. I have to give them credit, too, where credit's deserved. I've been kind of cautious to say whether they've been a good team or not, but they seem to be actually stepping up as the season goes on. They actually have a running game now, which is surprising. I'm not really sure how that happened. They have the best receiver in the NFL. I think that overall they're going to do good this week. I take the Falcons at -7, over under 48 points. But I do like them to cover this week as I think they're pretty hot. Next up is Chicago at Kansas City. The Chiefs were blown out last week, but would it surprise you to know they actually outgained their opponent in total yards? I thought that was surprising. They couldn't seem to punch it in the end zone whenever they were in the red zone. They walked away with a lot of field goals, which obviously didn't win the game for them. The Chiefs' defense can get some of those balls that I think that Cutler's going to throw. Obviously, Cutler's not the greatest quarterback, and as you know, I'm not a huge fan of the Bears. I think Cutler's a turnover machine, and I think the Chiefs should be able to walk away with a few of those balls, end up controlling the game, which is what I think the Chiefs should cover. However, there's a large spread on this game, 9 points. It actually was up to 11 at one point. I'm going to stay away from this game. I do like the Chiefs at -9 over under 45, but I'm not going to bet this game. As last week, the Bears can somehow figure out ways to move the ball occasionally. Cutler, again, I wouldn't be surprised has a couple turnovers this week. Again, I'll pass on this game. Next up, we got Saints at Eagles. Drew Brees played last week, which was a little surprising considering he wasn't 100%, and he didn't look 100%. They actually showed this on NBC. I don't know if you watched the game, but they even highlighted that he has some issues with his throw. However, I think that Drew Brees is better than Kirk Cousins even when Drew Brees is injured. This is important because the Eagles allowed Kirk Cousins to really throw the ball last week and control time possession. They had the ball for about 41 minutes last week against the Eagles. However, I think, again, the Saints will do better than the Redskins. I do like the Eagles on this game, though. I think they're the better team overall. They seem to have a little bit more going for them this season than the Eagles do. Than the Saints do. Again, I think the Eagles should cover, but I'm going to pass on this game. Seems to be a tough one to pick. The line right now is Eagles -6 over under 49. But again, I'll pass on this one. Now to my game of the week, Rams at Packers. I love this game for many reasons. Of course, you guys know in the background I'm a huge Packers fan. But in this situation, I think the Packers are in the right spot. The spread right now is Packers -9, which may sound large, but in this situation, I really think that it's the right spread. That being said, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay offense have won the games by about 8 points this season or more. I think they should cover this spread of 9 points, and I'm making this my pick of the week. It's not an underdog pick of the week, but I do like Green Bay in this situation. The Rams, I don't think, will be able to win this game unless they can run the ball and Todd Gurley can really move the chains. They'll have to control the ball and keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. That's the success to beating Packers and the secret. I don't think they'll be able to do this. Again, I think Green Bay's ready for this game. They've had time to prepare. They saw what the Rams did last week to the Cardinals, and Aaron Rodgers is known to make sure that he doesn't like to get embarrassed on television. I think that the Packers will walk away with a win on this one. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 2-touchdown win game. Right now, it's Packers -9 over under 46 points. I'm going to stay away from the over-under. I don't know how that game will go based on our defense. Packers defense seems to be red hot right now. They've controlled some pretty superstar rushers right now, including Jamal Charles, Marshawn Lynch, and even Carlos Hyde last week. Wouldn't be surprised if, again, Green Bay this week shuts down the Rams. I'm going to go Green Bay -9. We got Seahawks at Bengals next to close up the morning games. Bengals look legit. I've been a little concerned about them as well, like I was with the Falcons. But again, the Bengals look pretty good. Their offense seems to be moving the ball, and Andy Dalton's offensive line seems to be pretty darn good. He's only gotten sacked twice last week. They seem to be giving him time to pass the ball, and that's a pretty big deal for him. He'll move the chains again. I like the Bengals this week again against the Seahawks, believe it or not. I think the home team should win this one. Bengals seem to have all the weapons and all the gears clicking at this point. I'm going to go with them. Even though the Seahawks defense seems to be back, Legion Boom seems to be forming again with Cam Chancellor returning. I don't think they'll move the ball as well as they could at home. Again, I'm going to pick the Bengals to win this one. Over-under right now is 43 points, Bengal -3. We're going to do something different this week. I'm going to post afternoon games later. I wanted to make sure I get this video up in the morning. Please stay tuned. You'll see my afternoon picks coming up. I'll let you know on Facebook when those are up. Right now, I'd like to say go Packers. Hope you guys enjoy the morning games. Talk to you soon.